All right, against my better judgment, we are up and away here for another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. It is powered by WagerTalk.com. I'm Joe Raineri and joined by the gang. Here we go. Starting to my left, right, not sure depending on how this looks, but I'm just going to go ahead and say Mr. Ski over there, Hakeem Profit joining us. We got the doc in the house here, Dr. Chuck RX, sportsmemo.com, and of course, we dug him up. Somebody weekend at Bernie's here, Mr. Tony Finn at WagerTalk, got his cup ready to rock and roll, and we got NBA on our minds because small slate last night, but if you guys were watching us and following us here, yeah, it was a profitable night, especially if you were hanging out with our man over here at Ski Profit on Twitter. Make sure you're following him, guys. Delivered a whole lot of profit there last night. Ski, good night for you, my man. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice. I liked quite a bit. We had 4 games. I had 4 plays that I liked, and all 4 of them cashed. Philly, Hornets under, and Blazers. So great night.
Yeah, it was a really good night there. And, Dr. Chuck, it was an interesting night. It was a small slate, but, that last game of the night there, Portland Knicks, I had a lot of people trying to convince me yesterday that the Knicks were somehow going to – there was they were going to play for a new when I think about it, they were probably really high. So I'm thinking maybe that might have really come into it because the Knicks are just one of the worst teams I've ever seen ever.
And it's legal out there, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Ski said yesterday if he's playing them, he's laying them. And I said I thought they were going to beat the brakes off the Knicks. And I guess we'll probably talk about what GS might do if they're a little bit healthy to the Knicks tonight in the similar mode. But, yeah, I guess I was semi-profitable. Got the Philly first half under, and I suppose the Jimmy Butler prop went over whatever number that was, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the Hornets and Wizards put up about a dozen points each in the first half. So
yeah, it was a little disappointing. But they did score. They scored a lot of points in the second half. To be fair to them, they just didn't hit the over. Unfortunately, it was an interesting game. And Tony, congratulations! You were the man. You were screaming Miami Heat from the top of the mountaintops there yesterday. It was a big number, but it kept coming down. People weren't buying Miami; they were buying Atlanta. But that was a mistake.
We'll just be completely transparent and say that it probably wasn't a mistake if you watched the game at all and you saw that with about 10 minutes to go, I think Miami down 10. Mm-hmm. This was my thought with 10 minutes to go, exactly what happened. I said, about my only chance to cover this bitch is to have overtime.
Yeah. 22-0 run will do that there in the final minute of regulation and then, of course, in overtime. And I think, let's face it, Trae Young learned a very valuable lesson about sports. And, Tony, you know this. A very wise catcher once said, it ain't over until it's over. And, he kind of told everyone, Ski, it was over yesterday in the game. But, Trae Young forgot to check with Jimmy Butler and company.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Jimmy Butler let him know after the game. Yeah, Trae Young was looking like a rookie again, calling it with a 6-point lead.
Yeah.
He definitely learned his lesson.
Yeah, called him Nostradamus.
Has he not? He is a second-year player, right? He has watched the NBA. You know that no 20-point lead is safe in the NBA. There's not a team that has with a 20-point lead is safe. It's just not. It just can't happen.
Absolutely. It was a crazy night, profitable night, though, but we got plenty to get to here. Picking out a couple of games on the slate, 11, in fact, in the NBA tonight, and some great matchups, including the return of one Kawhi Leonard. Heading back across the border to Toronto. Clippers taking on Toronto here tonight, Ski, and opened up as the Clippers, believe it or not, as a 2-point favorite. That's been pushed up to 2.5 already. 220 opening total. I'm seeing 221.5 here, and we have to worry about whose load it is tonight. But from what I understand, it looks like Kawhi is going to play. At least that seems to be the thought. So with a healthy Kawhi, or at least with a Kawhi playing and Paul George and company, do you like the Clippers' chances tonight?
There better not be any load management going back to face the Raptors. I think they'll all be in the lineup tonight. This game is a little bit tricky to me. Raptors, they've been really dominant at the house. But ever since Kyle Lowry came back, and Ibaka, it just hasn't really been the same. And now Van Fleet is out. The offense is just taking a hit. So I'm not really liking what I'm seeing on the offensive side from Toronto. The Clippers, They can step it up versus anybody. When I look at last 5 game stats, obviously it's Clippers down the board. Clippers 4-1 against the spread their last 5. I would have to go with the Clippers in this one. I think Kawhi and company will be ready for the Raptors. I do think the Raptors are going to bring it. The way I would look myself if I'm playing this game, two better defensive teams. I know Clippers can play defense, Raptors can play defense, and like I said, Raptors offense hasn't been looking so good since Lowry has came back and without Van Fleet. This went under 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two, under 4 of the last 6 games for the Clippers. I like the under.
All right, he's taking the likes the under in this game over here. Might be a little short-handed there. Toronto, Dr. Chuck, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, when a situation like this occurs, it's I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense when there's a lot of options out there. Kawhi's coming back. The Raptors haven't been as good, like Ski said, but Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka in the lineup might have even more of a I want to prove it to you type mentality than the younger guys. I don't know. We've been looking to back the Clippers in these type of spots where maybe they're talking like, up and coming Doncic and those type of situations, and they, basically run them the whole game. But I don't know. We continue to say, why are the Raptors at this number and et cetera, and it usually backfires. And so I wouldn't take a side. I'd probably go under or nothing. But if you were telling me that I had to pick a side on this, I'd probably take the home team and think that the Clippers eventually are going to not care as much down the stretch on the road. And Kawhi's going to get his ring and leave and not come back. And I think the Raptors will just, want it more at the end. But I wouldn't put any money on it.
A lot of storylines here, Tony, Finn, tonight. Of course, Kawhi, all eyes will be on him. He is a go. He is cleared to go. I don't know. Are we still underestimating the Toronto Raptors at home now?
Well, I don't think we are. I mean, I think all of us know who Toronto is, who they can be, who they have to be to be a fraction of what they were last year with Kawhi. And this is going to be a different scenario, in my opinion, tonight. Kawhi's not going to come back and face boos and hisses, and I think it's going to be a fairly warm reception. Like, he was a one-and-done guy. It's not like he spent his whole career there. Mm-hmm. He brought them what Kawhi brought them last year is something probably only a handful of guys could ever have brought that team and that country, for that matter. And I think it's big, and like I said, I think it's a warm reception. I don't think you're going to find Kawhi being motivated to embarrass that team or any of the players. Here's the deal. This morning if you notice, this total is about a 220 total, but this morning, sharp, just almost clockwork. In the mornings at 8 o'clock, when you see a total climb 2 to 3 points, that's sharp money. And it went from 220 to 223. And a matter of, actually, it went to 222. And then over the course of the 2 hours, it went to high as 223 and a half. I'm looking at Penny right now, and it's come back a little bit. Now, the question here is, this is a big game. This is a big game. It's gonna handle some. There's gonna be some money handled in this game, from the counters here in Las Vegas to the offshores across, at least in our orbit. So, what is it? Is it a setup? There are a lot of times, like I said, for that to move that much that early in the morning, that's sharp money. Let's see what happens here. But the wise guys are telling you they like the over here.
Yeah, it's interesting. It has been moving. It will continue to move. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Clippers in Toronto. And then we'll move down the coast here in my neck of the woods in Florida. And, of course, the Orlando Magic are going to be home. And I think it's safe to say here, guys, Orlando is a different team at home than they are on the road. Plain and simple, right? I mean, there's not even a question about it. For some reason, they seem to like Orlando and Mickey Mouse and everything else that comes along with it. So, Ski, I don't know. You seem to have a lot of purple on here. They are 8-4 at the Amway Center, Orlando. They are getting 8 points in this game here. Total is a little low, 213 and a half. What do you think is going to happen here? You think the Orlando's got a shot at home to cover?
I have to look away from the total in this one. I look at the players available. I know Kuzma will be out. Rondo, game time decision. And Davis, it seems like he's on the report every single day. Yep. They might as well just, I don't know. He's probable, but I'm tired of seeing him on the injury report. When I look at Orlando, they're 4-1 against the number of their last 5 games. But who have they really played? They played Golden State or GS, They played Washington. They played Phoenix. They haven't played anybody. So I'm not really buying it. They're 1-2-1 as a home dog. And Lakers, they're only 4-5 as a road favorite, but they're playing good right now. They're 5-1 against the number of their last 6, and they've been blowing teams out. So they've only lost one game on the road, and I think for that reason, they'll still be motivated to come out and bring it and win on the road. I don't think Orlando's talented enough to keep up. I don't think, like, if LeBron goes to the forward position, like maybe when Davis or McGee comes out the game, I don't think anybody can stay with them there with Orlando. So I like the Lakers over the full game.
Interesting enough, Orlando on a 5-0 against the number streak, hosting the Lakers in this spot, the Amway Center. I don't know what the hell it is. Dr. Chuck, what do you think, man? You going with the Lakers? You going with Orlando here?
Well, I think the line jumped from, what was it, like 5.5 or 6 when they announced that Vucevic was out. Is that?
Well, he's always out. This guy's useless. Yes.
Right, exactly. And so maybe he'll be back next time. But I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge where the Lakers' motivation's at. I understand what Ski's saying. I probably would have to, obviously you'd have to hold your nose pretty hard and take the 8 points if you wanted to back Orlando at home. I think everybody's going to give their best shot, the Lakers, especially when they get the Lakers on their court. And I think if you're going to get 8 points, I just don't know how motivated the Lakers are. They got the heat up. LeBron's, gets to hang out in Florida for a little while. And I would not be laying that many points with the Lakers on the road in this spot. No Kuzma. It just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. But at the same time, how dumb would I feel if I'm just like, 8 sounds like a slam dunk and the Lakers just house them by 20. So it doesn't look like it's beneficial to me. Probably watch and learn and see yet again what the Lakers do, and if they get down, if they can just turn it on and decide when they want to win.
I'm seeing a lot of, and I'm shocked here, guys. I'm seeing a lot of 4.5s in the first half. I'm shocked we didn't get a first half from Dr. Chuck there. Taking Orlando, expecting them to maybe expecting the Lakers to have to turn it on in the second half.
Yeah, so I have considered that. I have some first half bets going for it, but no. I mean, yes, it would be magic or pass for first half. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And Tony Finn, come on. Yeah. What are you going to do in this game here? You're going to sprinkle a little Mickey Mouse dust, a little Disney World dust there? What do you think?
Well, it's time. It's almost time. I believe we can. At least I can put aside the squash and the wobbly wibbly verbiage that I've been spitting out. It's too early. I want to watch a little bit. It's almost time. Here's the question I have for you guys, and I trust you in giving me the real poop, and that is the Lakers have had a lot of success, guys. They've had a lot of success. I took a look at power rankings yesterday, and their schedule was fairly soft in the first half. I thought their numbers were really favorable. We talked about this, some low numbers on the road that they covered easily. They did lose to Dallas. They got spanked pretty good by Dallas, and then they came back and won, I think, 4 straight against teams that they match up really well against because they can defend and score. That being, if I'm not mistaken, it was Denver, Utah, Portland, and Minnesota. I think those are the 4 games. And they won those games, I think, by 20 or by combined 75, 80 points, those 4 games. Here's the question, and this is not a tough matchup for them. This is another team that they match up really well against, a team that's defense first, as the Lakers can be if they choose to be. So the eight's a big number and it's climbed, but I would listen again. I am not going to step in front of the Lakers, or maybe that's my question. Maybe I should step in front of the Lakers until they show us that they can step to the court, to the center circle, and win 4 in a row against the likes of maybe Milwaukee and Toronto and the Clippers and such. Your opinion? Right now, I would tell you, Joe, I'm on the Lakers at this point in time against any less than that can't score.
Some people would say, and agree there, Tony, coming on one of the most overvalued teams in the NBA, given the fact, what do they got, 3 straight wins by 17 or more. Due for a little regression here, but Ski, you're not buying it. You think there's regression in the near future for the Lakers?
In the near future, yes, but I agree with what Tony said. Versus the lesser teams, I mean, they take care of business. We're looking like they win by 10 or more versus all of these lesser teams. Even when they play the better teams, they're beating them too. So I mean, eventually the number is going to catch up to the Lakers, and it'll be too high to back, but I don't think it's there yet.
No, it's not there. There are going to be a lot of eyes on that game here tonight already. Seems to be, as far as handle goes, one of the big handled games on the night. And then, of course, as we move down the schedule and we look at some of these games like, I don't know, let's say Boston taking on the Pacers. Boston, I think we know what we're going to get there on the road. Pacers, and Tony, I'll start with you because confounding team. I have no idea. -2 here is what it opened up as a home favorite. It has since pushed towards the Celtics here, right around that number. Total hanging around 210 here. I don't know. What are you going to get from the Pacers here? It's a tough group to get a handle on here.
Absolutely tough. That's why wasn't it yesterday? I asked you guys, when are the Pacers gonna be at full strength so we can assess them on a day-to-day basis? Very difficult. I agree with you, Joe. In this case, I've spit it out and spit it on the microphone several times, and that is Boston is a great regular season team, and it's amazing to me. We've talked about this as well. I'm not a huge Boston fan. I'm not a huge fan of the coach. I think he was a great college coach, and he's a really good regular season coach. At least at this point, that's all he's proved to be. But this is a question for a team that has no big end. I mean, that's 6'8". That's 6'8" in the paint. That's as big as they get, and they are taking care of business, especially at home. How do you step in front of Boston here? I don't care that they're in Indiana. Indiana is, again, inconsistent, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Boston has now won 5 straight against the number here versus Indiana. Dr. Chuck, they have covered. Who do you like in this game?
Well, I guess it's going to be one of those days. I kind of like that we don't collaborate before we come on the air. I am on the Pacers in this play. And I'm waiting because it immediately started to move. And I just don't – it's more of a spot thing. It's more of a spot / it's just kind of like – I agree. Ski said – the Lakers are covering double digits, then why the hell did they open as a 5.5-point favorite at Orlando? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And Boston's in a standalone road spot here where they have. Sorry, 1 second.
Where they have. Man. Let me know when you're ready. Go ahead.
Hey, there's a pool boy crawling back behind you.
What are you getting robbed? Are you getting robbed right now on this show? We didn't even notice. The man is getting robbed and nobody even knows.
So anyway,
Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Something to do with Monopoly. I don't know. But so anyway, and then they have the Sixers tomorrow, the TNT game. It's back at home. There was just an article that said the Boston Celtics, kind of like Tony mentioned, the Boston Celtics have a Joel Embiid-sized hole in the middle of their lineup to prevent them from going far. They those two teams hate each other. I have a feeling they're looking forward to that game. Probably have the ability to take the Pacers a little lightly because that's how it is. And I just don't like the spot or the line. And now you're going to give me points with the Pacers. And it reminds me of a play I had last week where for some reason the Pacers were getting a point playing the Thunder. And I was like, the line is ridiculous, and they won by 12. And I just don't know. I mean, it's not fun betting against Boston, especially in the regular season, but, I mean, I don't know. Something about it smells, and I think the Celtics are flat.
All right, how about it, Ski? What do you think, brother, man? You like the Celtics in this spot, or are you smelling a rat here?
It's interesting. I agree with a couple of different points from each of them. I agree that, as far as the spot, Boston does play Sixers tomorrow. That's a team that they have to be ready to get up for. So it could be a look-ahead spot for the Celtics. And the Pacers, I'm just not sure where they're at right now. Like Tony mentioned yesterday, when is the team going to be at full go or whatever? But I don't know when to do it. But looking at this game here, Celtics have been playing well. 5-1 against the number last 6, 6-1 straight up last 7. When they play 55% when teams are greater, they're 9-0. So they get up for competition. Pacers, when they play competition, they're 2-3. They're 0-1 as a home dog. They beat up on the lesser teams. When they play tough teams, they're not really getting it done. So that kind of lends me away from the Pacers. Pacers are better at the house, and Celtics not so great on the road. All of their losses, I think, have come on the road. It's a game that I don't really like too much as far as the spread, but I'll look at the total. Both teams play a little bit slower. pace over the last 5 games, 25th and 20th. Two teams that are known that can play defense. Boston, 3rd defensive rated team over the last 5. Pacers, 11th. I think it'll be a slower pace game. I think you can say under the number. This went under 9 of the last 12 games for Boston, under 4 of the last 5 for Indiana, and I like under the total.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Pacers got off to a rough start. Or they 0-3 straight up, I think, and against the spread. But they, listen, 15-6 straight up, 11-8-2 against the number in 21 games since this all began here, guys. They're a defensive team. They're going to play defense. They like to control the rim. You know, they're tough on three-point shooting, but they can't score, Tony. That's the damn problem. You can't trust them to score enough points to be able to get it. I love them defensively. Are they going to get enough points when it matters the most?
If you're asking me, my initial impression is, and my initial thought is, no.
Yeah.
They're not. I agree with you 100% on this. This is again, but it is time, guys. It's time for us to at least for me, to stop hee-hawing about some of this stuff and just make some decisions on some teams and make good, sound,
right,
fact and number-based decisions and move forward. I don't know.
Because it's funny, because Dr. Chuck, you had mentioned something, and so did Tony. Tony said, "Listen, they're not very big, but they control. Indiana controls the paint, man. They love controlling the paint.
Yep.
They love controlling the rim. So if they control that, that tells me we're not looking at a whole lot of second chance points there, Dr. Chuck."
Yeah, and that's one of the things I like about it is I didn't find a whole lot of reason to fade the Celtics as far as points in the paint go, but Turner and Sabonis are going to dominate everyone, and they're almost bigger at every position.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe they are, in fact. But I mean, it hasn't affected the Celtics as much as you would think, and that's one of those things where, you can band-aid some things in the regular season that don't work in series in the playoffs. But yeah, it feels like they're going to put up 60 points in the paint.
Well, if I might jump in here real quickly, here's the deal. I don't know about you guys, but when I see if I'm not watching Boston, right, the next morning or that night, I do some recap on my own, do my own recaps. I just glance at a box score, and I see Marcus Smart is the leading scorer. I have very little faith in that team. However, this team just wins.
Yeah.
So
and that's what it is. They're putting emphasis on the defense. They know they have to win with defense, and it's like that's how they come out and game plan every game.
Yep, it's so true. It's so unique what they've been doing over there. But finally, Brad Stevens, I think, might be getting some credit here, getting a little love for putting this together, getting Kyrie out of the damn building. Everybody wins. Look at that. All right, another game on the card here, guys, that I'm looking at. A bit of a head-scratcher here. Let's see what you guys think. And we just talked about him a little bit, coming off a game last night in which we were told it was over, but it wasn't over. But it's not over for them. They're on their way to Chicago. The Atlanta Hawks taking on the Bulls here. Bulls opened up as a 4.5-point home favorites. That's been pushed up to 5.5, guys. I'm even seeing a few sixes out there. Total has come down a little bit at 221, but Tony, I'll start with you. What do you do with an Atlanta Hawks team that threw up all over themselves last night? Now they're on the road taking on I don't know, not a great Chicago team. Is it me, or does the value lie in the road dog here?
Well, you can make an argument for both sides. Obviously, you got a second leg of a back-to-back. You got an Atlanta team that refuses to face reality. This is not a very good team. And when you're in South Beach, in Miami, and your supposed floor general is talking trash without having anything, it's not a whole lot of leg to stand on. How can you not take the points? And Chicago's not great either. So here's the deal. This is a game where, guys, if you figure these two teams out in this kind of a situation, I want you in my office every morning. Let's talk.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, Ski, what do you do here, brother, man? Who do you trust? And stop moving your camera, Finn. Don't get all excited. What do you think here, Ski? Talk to me, man. Chicago, Atlanta? Atlanta's got to be egg on their face. I mean, maybe Trae Young comes out and drops 60 tonight. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I'm not running to the window to lay points with the Bulls. I know that. I'm never going to do that.
Except there were Dr. Chuck, because he's going the other way on this, but that's all right. Go ahead.
I was looking at this one. There was a lot of people's game time decision, but now it looks like everybody's kind of available to play on the Chicago side.
Right.
it's not a game that I feel too strongly about. It's just simple. 5 points or like I don't even want to lay 2 points with the Bulls. I'm not laying 5. So I would look towards Atlanta or pass. But if I'm playing Atlanta, since they played last night, if I like them, I'm looking at the first half. You know, you can maybe get some tired legs in the second half. So that's all I have. I'm not going to waste your time. It's not a game I love.
That's a good point. Dr. Chung, I don't know. This has got you written all over it, man. Let me guess. Bulls by 20? What are you going with here tonight?
Boy, does it have me written all over it, huh? Yeah. No, but this is pretty interesting. So only twice this season has a team been on the road, lost, no rest, and overtime, played another road game that next night, and the Hawks are one of the teams. And that next night, what they did was they allowed the Rockets to shoot 25 of 50 from 3. They lost 158 to 111. Rockets shot 72% effective field goal. They didn't even have Capella. And they allowed, I think, 38 or more points in just about every quarter.
I love those stats. But that was the Rockets.
It was.
The Bulls.
So parlaying that into the fact that over the last 5 games, the Rockets or the Bulls are shooting the second most 3-pointers and shooting almost half their shots from 3 and actually making them. And I think they're going to have most of their team there. So, I mean, no, I am not going to lay 5 points with the Bulls because it's another interesting stat that they have about a 300 win percentage and they're laying 5 points, and that is a pretty tough task to do as well. But I can't imagine backing Atlanta in this spot.
Well, what if I told you this, guys? How about Atlanta? You ready? Tony, I got a stat for you here.
Come on,
the Atlanta Hawks, 14 of their last 16 as a dog with an average line of 227. They've gone 14 over, including an average score of 238. This team as a dog with an average line of 227, they hit them all. It's over, and over. They score a lot of points. Can you trust Chicago to score enough to be able to push this over tonight? Might we see a free-for-all by some chance?
Well, you can sure trust Atlanta not to play defense, so why not?
Yeah. It's so true. It's so damn true, man. That's what's so hard about teams like, and you've said this before, Atlanta. You've said this before, Tony. And Ski, Atlanta, Chicago, the Washington Wizards. You know, you get some of these teams that you're like, well, the one thing we know for sure is they ain't going to play no defense. So then it really just becomes a matter of, is there any value in the line? If not, it's almost over at this point, right? I mean, there's nothing else to look at with these teams.
I think that's a great point for tonight. Yeah,
I'll be the one on the other side. I'll say, I know Atlanta, they went over 14 of the last 17 games. Defense has completely regressed since Collins has been out.
Right.
They're playing slow. Both teams don't play very fast. Atlanta 17th pace over the last 5. Chicago 24th. Tony's right. You can't trust Chicago to play defense. I mean, Atlanta to play defense, but Chicago has been playing defense, and I think they should be able to limit Atlanta in that second half. It's went under 6 of the last 8 games for Chicago. I will lean towards the under.
All right, so talk to me here tonight, guys, about 2 teams I don't think anybody thought might win as much games or as many games or has been as competitive as they are right now. How about OKC on the West Coast here tonight, guys? OKC taking on the Sacramento Kings. Kings opened up as a 1-point favorite. I'm seeing 2s out there right now. Number seems to be coming down a little bit. 210 it opened up with. I'm seeing 207s, 208s. The Kings will play some defense there, Tony Finn. I think we can assure ourselves of that. What do you like in this game?
Well, I think this as the good doctor said, there's a spot. This is spots. This is a really a letdown spot, or at least a flat spot, is what I would consider it for the Thunder. They just played in Utah at altitude, and while Sacramento's not going to be a team that they're going to be competing with in my opinion, for a postseason slot, the Denver Nuggets who are up next. So if you're looking for one of these teams to be flat, I believe it would be the Thunder and the Sacramento, as we mentioned earlier this week. Terrific against the number. 14, 15, and 3 now against the number. And I know there's this is essentially a pick'em, so there's no number. But they've listen with the injuries they've had. That you cannot fault them for where they are with the injuries they have and what they've been able to do. I like them.
What an interesting what a difference a year makes. Ski, when you look at this game, these two teams, the last time they played last year, the Vegas had the number 240. 240, and now we're looking at two teams where we can barely get to 207. It's amazing, the two franchises, the makeup of these two teams, how much everything looks different this year.
Most definitely. That's what subtract Russell Westbrook. All he wants to do is run up and down, shoot as fast as he can, and no De'Aaron Fox for Sacramento. Yep. So there you go. That's the pace for both teams.
Yep, it's crazy. What do you like in this game?
It's not a game that I love, first of all, but looking at it, I mean, last 5 game stats, everything favors the Thunder. Thunder have been better on offense, on defense. They rebound better. They've won 3 games in a row. Sacramento's also been playing well. They've won 2 in a row. They've covered 15 of the last 18 games.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, I hear Tony saying it could be a letdown spot for OKC. I probably would look more towards the total in this one. I look at both teams. They play a little bit slower. As you mentioned, but OKC 29th in pace over the last 5 games. Sacramento 23rd. Oof. And I mean, no De'Aaron Fox on that side. They're gonna play slow.
Yep.
OKC, they play better defense than Sacramento. Both offenses are middle of the pack. I would just lean towards under. It's not anything I feel super strong about. We have 11 games today. I think you don't have to play every single one of them, so I won't be playing this one.
Amen to that. What do you think, Dr. Chuck? What do you got in this game over here? Is it a letdown spot?
Yeah, I think, and I think Tony's onto something because I'm pretty sure there's some reverse line movement. So I have a feeling that's exactly where the Sharps are looking. And I don't even think Kings are getting half the tickets, but it's already moving to 1. And I think it's gone from 1 to 1.5, maybe expanded further than that. I'm not sure, but I mean, it's probably too late by the time we're doing this because it's already been pounded down, and this might have been one of those games Tony woke up to see. But I liked the under. On 210 when it was at a little bit earlier. I think you might be all the way down into the 207s. Maybe you can get a 208. But I still think there's some decent value because the Kings have been holding teams under 100, and like Ski was saying, neither of them are running up and down the court. They are shooting threes, so you're always in danger. But I couldn't tell you which way to look on the side, but definitely. If I had to make a play in this game, it'd be the under.
Hey, Joe.
Go ahead, man.
I'm looking at the report. I mean, Bogdanovich, game time decision. If you like the Kings, you need him in the lineup.
You gotta have him. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
If he doesn't play, I mean, I'm looking at the other side.
Yeah.
Well, I will interrupt you guys and say I don't think he's playing.
I don't think he's. Yeah.
And it's much to what the doctor just said, and that is about 7:30 this morning Pacific. This 210.5 went to in 30 minutes went to 208. Okay, yeah. Again, let's just use that time period as a guide of whether if you're going to assess whether it's sharp money and you don't have access to all the managers here in the Vegas or in offshore, you have to use something as your gauge. That's a pretty good gauge, and some of these guys know some things we don't. Even us, who we 24, we live, breathe, drink, eat sports. NBA is one of the toughest ones, the toughest in my orbit. To know everything you need to know to push in every night. So,
what if I told you this too? OKC made the announcement last night that Chris Paul, Steve Adams, and Gallinari all available for trade.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, you go. So if there is something in the works behind the scenes, guys, where we could be dealing with an announcement coming up, that could also be influencing what's going on. And then,
that's why Joe makes the big money.
Just saying it. Just throwing it out there for you guys. It's a good reason, but I can't come up with a reason unless you guys can tell me here. There is another game on the board, a game that I am sure Tony Finn has had circled. He loves this, and maybe he can help explain what the hell is going on with the line here. But the damn Milwaukee Bucks are at home. They've won 432 games in a row. The New Orleans Pelicans are coming to town, opened up at 14 as the Bucks, but we're down to single digits here, Tony Finn. What the hell is going on? The 234 is down to 232. What's going on?
The Ouzo is flowing freely at Giannis' house last night, this morning.
Birthday celebration? Like, what the hell's going on, dude?
It has to do with something. It has to do with something called a quadricep, and they're not going to play tonight.
Who's out tonight? Who's out in this?
Giannis.
Freak.
Is he
The freak.
that? But I'm going to have the question. Is he a 6 point? Is he worth 6 points?
Absolutely not. There's not. Michael Jordan was barely a 6 point, but this is a completely different environment we live in gambling and in the NBA especially. Right. It's volatile, and if there's 100 reasons that Milwaukee's supposed to not cover tonight, Giannis is pretty big one of those 100, and the fact is they have won 15 in a row. Win and even I don't want to get too religious, but even the Almighty is going to have some. He's going to have a bad day, isn't he?
Well, then Ski, I got to ask you. I mean, yes, I get it, but isn't it an overreact? When does it become too much, and when does the value shift going now? Now we've completely undervalued Milwaukee because Giannis is out. So what are we going? I mean, are you looking for a number in this game, or do you think that they're screwed one way or the other?
I think that Milwaukee is just a lot of Giannis. It's not really other players that are going to step up, or like it's not a Brogdon over there who can. It's not another player I'm looking to, and then you want them to cover 10 points. I'm not running to the window to do it. I know New Orleans has been pretty poor, especially on the road. 2-8 as a road dog. They haven't covered their last 6 games. I probably would look more towards the total. I mean, we know Giannis wants to play up tempo. He wants to push the pace. Without him on the floor, he scores 30-something points a game. It's went under 5 of the last 7 for Milwaukee, under 6 of the last 7 for Pelicans. I would probably just lean towards under. And if I had to play, I'm not laying it with Milwaukee just because I don't trust the other pieces on the team.
Well, Dr. Chuck, it sounds an awful lot to me like if you don't take New Orleans in the points, you're out of your damn mind here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't know how much you want it. The problem is, like Tony was saying, some things are different now so you can gamble from anywhere. You can gamble from your phone, and so a lot more liability just all over the world, and things just are changing. I mean, hell, we talked about it earlier. Vucevic was worth 2 points of a move. I mean, that's the world we live in. Like, that guy's not a blip on, on Giannis's radar, and so of course it's going to drop this much. I mean, you're obviously celebrating with the champagne already if you got yourself a Pels 13.5 this morning, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I trust Middleton maybe more than Ski does, and a bunch of chucking threes from the rest of the Bucks pieces. But yeah, absolutely, if you had Pels in the double digits, I think you are sitting in really good shape. And if you could still get it, it might be worth teasing it up even to get back in there. But I think it's an overreaction of a move because he's obviously not worth that many points because nobody is. But at the same time, it's like Ski said, you watch the Bucks and it's just that's not going to look like the Bucks tonight, right. And that's what people are betting against.
All right, let's talk some dogs here on the board here tonight, guys. Like you said, Ski, 11 games on the board here tonight. Certainly don't have to bet every one of them, but is there a dog here on the board that you've circled that you like a little more than the others?
Let me go last on this one.
All right, hold on, hang out there. I'll go to Finn because Finn's always pulling dogs out somewhere along the lines over there. Finn, is there a dog on the board tonight that you like?
Man, there is.
And if you tell me the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm cutting you off. I'm telling you right now. So tell me.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't say that, and I wouldn't. Anything that starts with an M is not. I am not playing on tonight. Not Memphis, especially not Memphis, not Minnesota, and not Milwaukee.
Yep.
Any other M's? No. If I liked the dog tonight, it would be. It would absolutely be Toronto.
It has to be, right? I mean, it almost has to be at this point.
That would be my choice.
Yep. I agree. It's got to be that. We've already seen the reverse line movement, Dr. Chuck. Indiana started as a favorite. Now they're an underdog at home. What's your dog here tonight? What are you looking at?
Well, so I mentioned the Pacers earlier, and I like the Pacers if that counts as a dog.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's close to a pick 'em, and they're getting a point in some places, so I guess that does count. Probably the Pelicans. I guess maybe I'd get a little insight from Tony what he thinks about this. I don't know. It's hard for me to go any way but the Grizzlies if the Suns are laying 7 or 8 points. So I don't know what he's thinking, if he's just joking about the M's or if he's got a.
It's an M, Finn. You liking Memphis?
Well, with the Grizzlies, with the Grizzlies short bench, and it's just a tough play. They're probably is Morant. Is he healthy? Is he going to ever show back up? And when he does show up, is he going to be ready to play? Listen, this is their 4th straight road game, the Grizzlies, with a short bench. The Suns have displayed their ability, their balanced ability, and to be able to shoot. And 7 is a fair number to be backing the Suns. That would be my opinion. And I'm not playing. I like Memphis. I've played them this year. Not playing them in a situation like this on the road against a Suns team that can run. They can play deliberate. They can run. They can do a lot of things that will bother and be a serious liability for Memphis.
Changing your mind there, Dr. Chuck?
Well, so yeah, I don't have a good feel for it, and a good feel for John Morant and the situation. It sticks out, and that might be one of those things. They need 50-50 action on both sides, and how are they going to get action on people taking the Grizzlies on the road, and that might be the way. I guess just because as we're on the air and continuing to expand this line, if you wanted to hold your nose all night and just root against the best player in the league,
don't say it.
He's going to say it. He's coming out with it. Go ahead, do it.
Now it's 8.5, and you'll probably be able to get 9 soon. And I don't really ever like being on a side of 90% of the bets. So I mean, that's a 90-10 Lakers Magic split right now.
I thought he was going to say the Knicks.
No, that's absolutely no. Well, it's better than saying GS. And
no, we still have one left here. He could say the Knicks.
I was going to say he needed a few minutes to try to break to us that he's going to back the Knicks here tonight, or is it GS? What are you going? What's your go-to dog here tonight, Ski?
I'm saving GS for you, Joe. But when I look at it, all right, I had to go through all 11 games and just take another look. I don't really love all the dogs today, but if I'm picking one, we talked a little bit about it already. It could be a look-ahead spot for Boston.
Yeah.
To play the Sixers tomorrow. We talked about they're kind of small. Indiana's a little bit bigger. I'm blanking out. Sabonis and Turner, they could have a big night versus Boston. Indiana's good at the house. All of Boston's losses have came on the road. Smart game-time decision. I don't like seeing that if you like the Celtics. So for my dog, I'll rock with the Pacers to win.
Hayward's back. Does that change it for anybody? Nobody? Anybody? No? Okay, good stuff. All right, so we're going to go Indiana in this game. Let's just be realistic. Let's make the call, except for Finn, but, he doesn't like anything with an M in it or an I, apparently. So let's go around the horn here, guys. Some of our best bets of the night in the NBA, and we will start with Dr. Chuck, man. Come on, give me a first half. I heard one first half play out of you here tonight. I'm starting to worry about you. So tell me what you got. 11 games on the board. What's your best bet here?
Did I give out a first half play already?
No, you have not, and I'm very shocked at that. Yes.
Yeah. All right, well, there's a couple of interesting things, just like, in the Ralph vein.
Go.
Only 7 times in database history after game number 25 of the season have 2 teams this bad played each other, in the Warriors and Knicks.
Here it comes. Here it comes. And here comes the mute button. Yeah, go ahead.
But it's still, are you going to really lay that many points? It's probably going to look the same as last night, but it's tough because I want to see them do it together. I guess Baby Dog went off the last time they won and he had 30 points, I think. And with him and Looney in there, Green, Russell, they should probably make the Knicks look as silly as the Blazers did.
You could probably see that on Pornhub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Temple could probably win this game. That's what I'm thinking. Yes. Yeah. Temple put up 100 yesterday, so I don't think they'd have a problem on either of these two teams.
I think everybody might do that to St. Joe's, but yes, I think it's interesting. A game we didn't talk about, the Rockets. I feel like that might be it's ridiculous that it's a short line, but I think it's 10.5, and they play at the Cavs, and it's pretty ugly. You only have to lay about 5.5 or 6 in the first half there to get the Cavs, who were really bad in the first half. So I like that as well. I already said the Pacers, and then. Probably no surprise, Joe, because this is what you wanted. I am going with the Bulls.
Oh, shocker! Yes,
shocker. But so the Bulls are, like I said, they are shooting the second most threes. Their 3-point rate is only 3 points less than the Rockets lately.
Okay.
And the Hawks are 4-9 against the spread on the road in the first half, and the Bulls are 8-4 against the spread in the first half. And like I said, the last time the Hawks played in this exact spot, they were down by 25 at the half. So.
All right. I love it, man. I love it. Again's going contrarian here, Ski. Talk to me here, brother. Talk to me, man. You like what game? Is there a game we didn't cover here tonight? Something that you've been leaning towards first and foremost?
Yeah, one we didn't cover, but the doctor talked about it a little bit just now.
Oh,
we're going to go
you going
Houston.
Cleveland. You sniffing out Cleveland here, aren't you, tonight? I know what you're doing. Go ahead. What's going on here?
Yeah, you know it, man. Cavs, they're out on Beeline. I said it a couple days ago. He's bringing that college coach attitude. They're not having it. They're professionals. They said, get out of here. So 2-10 against the spread on the first half at the house for Cleveland. They're 1-6 against the number of the full game. They lose by 9 or more. They're just getting blown out. Looking at first half point margin over the last 3 games, like mentioned, I'm saying they're out on Beeline. Point margin for the first half, minus 19.7.
Oh, damn.
They're not even showing up to these games.
Jesus.
And then we look at the Rockets, plus 7 point margin on the first half over their last 3 games. They're coming off a game winner loss versus the Kings. They should be pissed off about that. I like the Rockets on the first half.
First half Rockets basketball. Look at Ski pulling out, going a little Cleveland over there, Finn. And there's not an M in there, so go ahead. Talk to me, Finn. What do you like? You must love that play. And he's frozen his crap. All right, so hold on there, Finn. We'll get your ass back there. Is there a...
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead, my man.
I mentioned one more while we get Finn back.
Go.
Yeah.
Damn it. I had it right here, but we're going to go to Indiana and Boston again.
Okay.
And I said both teams play slower. We talked about Boston. They have to come out and win with their defense. Like, that's the game plan. I like it more if Smart is playing, because we know he's going to go out there and lock up some perimeter players for Indiana. Under 9 of the last 12 for Boston. Under 4 of the last 5 for Indiana. They both play slower pace, 25th and 20th over the last 5 games. We'll go with under the total.
Under the total in that game, perfect. Now, you guys tell me here, if you were a prop market bettor, was there a place that you would look here tonight, or is there a game you would look at here tonight?
I'll be honest with you, Joe. We got 12 games, and I didn't really get to the props just yet.
I'm just saying, well, let me ask you this. I mean, we know apparently the line, right? If we're looking at the lines here, guys, it appears that who's going to score the most points tonight? What's the highest scoring game on the board right now? I mean, we're looking at, 230? So it's Memphis Phoenix, it looks like, or Milwaukee Pelicans. Now, I don't know. Do you guys trust the Pelicans and the Bucks to score the most points tonight?
Without Giannis, it's hard to trust them. I know they both play fast, but it's hard to trust that without him in there.
What do you think, Dr. Chuck?
I like another thing that we didn't get to, just because there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of value on the board. The Hornets are on a back-to-back. They completely locked down the Wizards, like Ski warned me against.
Yes.
For the most part, now they have all kinds of game-time decisions.
Right.
And it looks like maybe no Monk, and who else is on that list? But the Nets are actually pretty decent in the first half. I'm not laying 10 points with these Nets, but in the first half you get about 5. And if the Hornets are, playing on a back-to-back and starting with a completely different looking team than it was last night, they didn't exactly score like I thought they would against the Wizards, obviously.
So true.
And completely, stop the Wizards from scoring, and the Wizards usually just entice everyone to want to run up and down and start chucking shots, and that didn't happen. And so I would definitely, it's not necessarily a prop, but kind of, I like first quarter and half with the Nets.
Love it. All right, Finn, welcome back here, my man.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk to us about your best bet here. Where are you going here tonight? What you looking? I know it's not an M, but a lot of guys looking here. I don't know if you were on or if you were frozen his ass, but we had Ski's looking Cleveland, man. He loves what's going on with Cleveland, loves that first half because, let's face it, Cleveland doesn't like Bielema. It's just not working out, man. So they're not playing, and Houston does generally like to play. Should be a little pissed off. Where are you going tonight?
I'm going to step out in front. Here, I'm stepping in front of a team that is essentially on their 100th straight road game, and they don't. They have issues playing defense. They have issues in the backcourt, and I'm going to step on the head of a team that's in a slump. I like Utah at short number in Minnesota.
Wow, going against the M, liking Utah, huh? So anybody else liking Utah tonight? Raise your hand real quick. Anybody? No, all right, good. Way to go, Finn. You're on your own there. Between you and Dr. Chuck with Chicago, you and Utah, and Ski's just lighting a match to Cleveland here. You guys got yourself plenty of opportunities to make it a profitable night. That's what they do. That's what they bring to the table. All you guys have to do, head over to WagerTalk.com. You'll get Ski. You'll get Tony Finn there. Plays available right now. And, of course, Dr. Chuck over at SportsMemo.com. All available for you guys. All you got to do is punch in the keyboard like you hear Tony do all throughout the show right there, because apparently there's nothing soft about the way he types. But, yes, that's where you got to go. SportsMemo.com, Dr. Chuck. WagerTalk.com. You got Ski, you've got Finn, and you've got us here with another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. It is powered by WagerTalk.com. We'll be back again tomorrow breaking it all down. But, fellas, listen, good luck. Ski, Dr. Chuck, Tony, good luck with the plays here tonight. Thanks for the time. Enjoy, and we'll come back and make fun of all of you tomorrow again.
All right.
Good luck.
Good luck, guys.